What is going on, everybody? Mega here with another Danganronpa stream. In the previous stream, we finished chapter 3, and so in that stream, Hifumi and Kiyotaka were both killed by someone dressed as a robot. So now we're gonna do the investigation part, and hopefully the stream isn't taken down because during the opening, but we're gonna try it.
Danganronpa.
Alright, looks like we made it through the opening.
Danganronpa.
So let's continue where we left off. Okay. Hifumi's body, they discovered it in the nurse's office. Taka's body, discovered in the equipment room. I was a witness to two nightmares, well, one right after another. No, they weren't nightmares. This is harsh reality. The true nightmare is this reality. The reality I have to face every day. But still. Why is this happening? Okay, so first we had to examine Toko. Toko? Don't tell me Toko too. Relax. She just passed out when she saw the blood. The blood? Oh, that's right. When Toko is Toko, she has a fear of blood, huh? It's like he said. I should just leave her alone for now. Now let's examine the hammer. Another hammer. Now it's Justice Hammer's 4, and it's even bigger than before. Is that suspicious individual responsible for killing Taka too?
However,
But why is it Justice Hammer 4? Huh? What do you mean? The Celesti was attacked with Justice Hammer 1. Then Hifumi with Justice Hammer 2. But this time it was Justice Hammer 4. What happened to number 3?
what?
Well, when you mentioned Justice Hammer 3, you just reminded me.
What?
Actually, Taka's not the only one that's been killed. Hifumi's dead too.
What? Hey!
Yeah.
I see.
So Sakura, Byakuya, and I rushed out of the physics lab. But as soon as we were out of the physics lab...
Oh!
Celeste, aren't you supposed to be waiting in the nurse's office?
Indeed.
Huh? What's gone? Disappeared? Huh. What?
What did you say? Come on. What? Hey!
I practically left down the stairs, nearly losing my balance. I reached the nurse's office, completely out of breath. I couldn't believe my eyes. Ufumi's body was there just a few minutes earlier. It just disappeared?
Indeed.
What did you say? Why?
Huh?
Hina.
No way! No!
Hina.
Huh?
What?
Well... Huh?
Damn. Bastard!
Everyone stop fighting right now. We need to hurry up. We need to hurry back.
Huh?
Damn.
We ran to the equipment room at full speed. And when we got there... Toko! Thank God you're okay. But right away I noticed there was something very different here. It was gone. Tako's body, which should have been right there, had disappeared.
This is...
No, it's not a hallucination. I know I saw it before. And what I'm seeing now isn't what I saw before.
Huh?
Stop talking.
But why would they do that?
Huh?
Not possible.
Huh? Well... It is so.
Hold on. Kyoko has an alibi for when Celestia and Hifumi were attacked. There's no question that she was in the dining hall with us. But that's not it at all.
That's fine.
Let's see...
Oh, that's right. There's a rule that says you can only kill a maximum of 2 people.
That's right.
Indeed.
Let's see...
Perhaps. In other words,
The 2 missing bodies. The two people have been killed and their bodies have been hidden. The only one without an alibi is the one who could have done it. It is Hiro, but is he really the killer? What about Kyoko? If she's not involved in this case, where did she go?
What?
Oh, huh? Oh no, it's nothing.
So then, but... Cause, I mean...
Ina.
Huh?
Byakuya left the equipment room off and followed by the others. I have to try and find the two missing bodies. Okay. Okay, so now we need to head to the art room. And examine the door to the repository. Huh? The door must be locked. Enter. Okay, so now we have to head to the rec room. And we need to immediately exit it, and then we need to do the same to a classroom. And there's a classroom over here. Makoto.
Come on.
Huh? You mean?
Indeed.
Goodbye.
The bodies were in the repository? So now we go back to the repository. Are the bodies somewhere? And when I entered, I saw the two bodies that didn't disappear were right there. The smell of blood made me gag. What I saw before my eyes was unconscionable, unavoidable, unwavering reality. And then I heard the announcement for the second time.
A body has been discovered after a certain amount of time, which you may use however you like. The class trial will begin.
And so here we are.
The Monokuma file! What?
Stop talking.
Punishment is waiting for you. See ya later!
What the heck? That's terrible!
suddenly burst into a tear. So she clutched onto Humi's lifeless body.
Who would do this? Why? Why?
Large wet tears fell from her eyes. The tears landed on Hifumi's cheeks. If this were some world of make-believe, that might have been when Hifumi opened his eyes. But this wasn't a movie. This wasn't...
He's alive again?
Where am I?
Cold. So
Oh,
cold.
oh, so he's still alive.
Is...
Hifumi! Wake up!
Huh? That's right. I remember now. Hope's Peak.
Come on, you gotta wake up!
I remember everything before I met you all. I met you all. The light, it's reaching out to me like the tail of a comet.
Hey, Hifumi! Who was it? Who attacked you? Who tried to kill you?
Who killed me? That's right. I remember their name.
His eyes closed, and they never opened again. Death for the second time. Absolute, undeniable death. No matter how many more of Hina's tears splashed on his face, there was no second miracle. Reality set in again.
Honestly.
Stop talking.
He said Yashiro, right?
Then perhaps...
Yashiro and Hakukude. This is the only person who could...
So, in other words,
What is this?
that's fine.
Indeed.
I have to do it. Okay, first I checked the Monokuma file. The victims were Hifumi Yamada and Kiyotaka Ishimura. The cause of death for each blow was a blow to the head. It is thought they were both killed with a similar weapon. That's it?
Very strange.
Well,
What are you talking about, Kyoko? Kyoko? An accomplice?
Monokuma appeared!
What question?
Speaking of which, I'd like to ask the bear, if there is an accomplice, do they also become blackened?
So you ask, and so I shall answer. Each murder is allowed to have an accomplice, but only the one who does the killing will get to graduate.
So, in other words, two people can work together, but one of them has no chance of profiting from it.
Then there's no way anyone would work together, right?
In other words,
So then,
hey, Phew.
only one blacking can graduate. An accomplice gets nothing.
So, in other words,
Well... Extreme!
The true blacking? So just one person?
Well now.
I'll say this: it seems pretty easy to get like, information out of Monokuma. So there can be only one black and an accomplice wouldn't benefit the benefit. Then I can't see any way Kyokoku will be connected to the case after to this case after all.
However...
Indeed. So,
let me move this over. Okay. When did you?
You SOB! Huh?
Nope, sack.
You gotta be kidding! What the heck? What? Yep. What are you saying? Let's see.
So then...
it's all clear now.
This whole thing is so strange. All but one of us has an alibi, so figuring out who did it should be obvious, right? But maybe it's just me, but I don't think it's gonna be as straightforward as it seems. Monokuma file number 3. Okay, so first, examine the hammers. There are hammers of all different sizes hanging on the wall, although some are more like mallets. Mallets? Could the Justice Hammer have been designed using these as a model? Either way, all the hammers here have obviously seen a lot of use. They're all covered with debris and chalk, stone, and powder. Wait. For some reason, this one hammer isn't dry at all. It's wet. Did someone wash it recently? Spotless hammer. Alright. Okay, and so now we need to examine Hifumi. Hifumi's big, cold body is lying on the floor. His really big body. I mean, how on earth was the killer able to move someone so big? From the nurse's office where he was discovered to here, the repository, all the way from the first floor to the third floor, all without anyone noticing. How the hell? Good, I just don't get it. I can think about it later. For now, I have to finish investigating Hifumi. If I remember correctly, Hifumi's fatal injury was a blow to the head. Probably from Justice Hammer 3, which was lying on the floor in the nurse's office. Huh? Wait. Something's off about his body. Why am I getting this feeling? Something's different. Something about Hifumi's body in the nurse's office versus his body right now. That's it. His glasses. But now they're completely clean. Does that mean someone wiped his glasses off? Or why would they do that? But who would do that and why? Alright, Hifumi's glasses. Now we have to examine Kiyotaka. Taka, he'll never move again. According to the Monokuma file, Taka died from a blow to the head. We found Justice Hammer 4 near his body in the equipment room. Is that what was used to kill him? And there's a tarp laid out on his body. Did the killer use this to move Taka's body? That way there would be no blood left while the body was moved. Alright. Repository dolly. It's a dolly. It doesn't have a handle. I saw this in the art room before, but I guess it's used to move statues around. It's kind of awkward, but if you bend it down, it's not hard to use, huh? But wait, wasn't this in the equipment room when we found Taka's body? And look at the wheel. There's a blood stain on it. So there's blood on the wheel of the dolly that was moved from the equipment room to the repository. What's the explanation for that? Okay. Okay. Speak to Aioi.
So,
Huh? What is it?
But...
It was locked? Yeah, it was locked. I wonder the same thing. The door was locked when the search for the bodies began, and now it's wide open. There might be some secret lurking in there. I'll probably have to leave this area to figure it out. Alright, let me just change to the next page of my notes. Hold on. Okay. There's only one way in and out of this room. Through the door that Hina said was locked before. There's definitely a lock on the door, but it can only be locked from inside the repository. I don't see any way to lock it from in the art room. The door can only be locked from inside the repository, which makes me wonder. Hina and Sakura can confirm that the door was locked after we started looking for the missing bodies. And this door is designed so it can only be locked from the inside the repository. In other words, when Hina checked it, someone had already gone in the repository and locked the door. When they were done, they locked it and left, which is why it's unlocked now. But Hina claims there's no way someone could have beaten them to the repository. So that's certain someone. Repository door. Okay. Now we return to the. Now we return to the equipment room. Oh. I guess talk to Sakura?
So then.
And after that, Wah! Huh? Fumi, he's in the nurse's office. This is bad. We have to go back. At that point, we decided to split up into two groups. Celeste, Hina, and I went back to the nurse's office. Meanwhile, you, Byakuya, and Toko pursued the suspect up on the 3rd floor. And when we got back to the nurse's office, he found Hifumi's corpse. Which is also when we heard the body discovery announcement play. I left Celeste and Hina alone and headed back to the 3rd floor to tell the others what had happened.
However...
But at the same time, we discovered Taka's body in the equipment room. Which means Hifumi and Taka were discovered right around the same time. Because I remember hearing the body discovery announcement play right after finding Taka. And that's when I showed up and told you Byakuya and Hifumi had been killed, right? Then you, me, and Byakuya all headed to back to the nurse's office, leaving behind Toko, who had fainted. But as soon as we left the physics lab, we ran into Celeste, who was just arrived to tell us something very unusual. He hurried back to the nurse's office to discover that his corpse was in fact gone. So from there we began our search for both the missing bodies. And after some time, and there we discovered the two bodies that had apparently vanished. And that brings us up to now. Yeah, he said Hiro's name.
So in other words...
Okay, but if he did do it, why would he hide his identity with that weird costume? Maybe he is kinda dumb. But do you really think that that's enough to explain it? I feel like there's a clue hiding in there somewhere.
What?
Well, no, there are a few other things. Like, why did the killer try to hide the bodies? But if that's the case, why... We found the bodies pretty easily, didn't we? Is that really all there is to it? The other thing that bothers me is, why did they bother killing two people?
What?
Because all the rule says is that if you can kill someone and get away with it, you graduate, right? So if you're the killer, your number one priority is not getting caught. But killing two people means more clues, more chances you'll get found out.
See.
Is everything okay?
That's enough.
Huh? What's with that attitude?
Goodbye.
His mysterious words hung in the air as he left the repository. He's talked as if he's figured something out, but if he did, what would it have killed him to tell me what it was? There's got to be a clue around here somewhere. Maybe I should check somewhere else. There are places I already know about. First, the nurse's office where Hifumi was found. Then the equipment room where Taka was found. Okay. So now we have to go to the equipment room. Alright. The equipment room. Alright, and so now... examine the hammer. Just as Hammer 4, the weapon that was used to kill Taka. The body was moved, but the murder weapon was just left here. And now the blood stain. There's some kind of tire marks going through the pool of blood in the middle of the room. That reminds me about the dolly in the repository. There was blood on its tire. Could that blood have come from here? Which means that Taka's body was moved from the equipment room to the repository using the dolly. Both rooms were on the 3rd floor, so that should definitely have been possible. But even if the dolly was moved to move Taka's body, what about Hifumi? Hifumi's body was in the nurse's office room on the 1st floor. Even with the dolly, there's no way to get it up to the 3rd floor. That's still a total mystery. And now we talk to Toko.
What?
And we got nothing from her. And so now we have to go to the nurse's office, which is on the 1st floor. Okay, I'm in the nurse's office. Alright, and now we speak to Celeste. What are you investigating, Celeste? Oh, you know, I was just checking this and that. The main thing on my mind is how someone could have moved Hifumi's body.
Let's see.
When it disappeared, you were supposed to be in the nurse's office, right?
Yes, indeed. Indeed.
We examine the hammer. Justice Hammer 3, the one that was used to kill Hifumi. And someone moved the body and left the weapon behind. And now the trash or refrigerator. A bunch of blood packets in here for blood trash. That's what I need. There's a normal trash. Wait, huh? There's something inside. It's too small to be a handkerchief. It's a glass. It's cleaning cloth. And it has some kind of cartoon character on it. Ah, but it's also covered in blood.
Oh. Huh?
Yeah, me neither. But it might be important. Exit the room. Alright. Alright, this is what I'm looking for. No. So what I'm looking for is Byakuya, because he's supposed to present me with something. Let me see where he is. I guess I'll go back to the equipment room. Where was it? Oh, equipment room. No.
What?
This tarp. Feels like I've seen it before. Recently. Seems like I didn't miss anything. Oh, there he is. You have? Meet in the dining hall. This is no hero role to get us all to meet up, right? Well, the penmanship was pretty remarkable, so it left an impression.
It's all clear now.
What is? What are you talking about?
Goodbye.
Okay. So now we have to head to Hero's room. Kyoko, Makoto, Mondo, Ryakia, Sayaka, Junko, Toto, Tadashi, Hiro. Doors unlocked, I guess I can go inside. Byaka said to go look. It might not be a great idea, but I guess I'm gonna take a plunge. This is your room. There's all some kind of weird stuff in here. Where did he get all this from? More importantly, he still hasn't turned up, which means he can't really complain if I don't get permission to search his room. Okay. It's blueprints for something, and some things made out of, it looks like cardboard, plastic, and plastic. Is this Robo Justice? And it's in Hero's room. But wait, these blueprints. Something about them bothers me. Exit the room. What's wrong? What? Is she okay? Where is she?
Just a second.
Robo Justice?
Okay.
Alright, off to the pool. Kyoko and
I mean...
Man, I've had the worst day. Hero? Apparently this ridiculous Hero. I'd ask for details about you.
Right.
He was gentle.
Don't be mean!
What?
Where have you been all the time? You just disappear all of a sudden without a trace.
Wow.
What do you mean?
It's nothing. Hey,
She says that, but does she have any idea? Does she know that that people think she might be spying for the Mastermind?
I mean... Huh? Let me out of here! Got it all wrong!
it would seem...
So then, honestly, is that okay?
Yeah, me too.
Could it be... That's terrible! Just the worst.
That's right.
What the heck?
Please!
What are you saying?
What the heck?
Okay. Huh. See? Look. See how loose it is? I mean, come on. I'm blind as a bat in here. Can't see my feet at all. I'm surprised you got anywhere in this thing.
I'm telling you, it wasn't me!
And not to mention, you totally can't bend at the waist. Seems like a pretty obvious oversight.
That's not a very nice thing to say. I mean, it's not like I made it. I just got caught up in the moment.
Well, either way, now we know for sure, right? I mean, it seems pretty clear that nobody but Hero could have fit into this dumb costume. Ah.
Oh, okay. It's no good. The arms are too long. There's no way I can wear
Just
this.
a second.
But
Honestly,
what the heck?
just the worst. That's terrible.
What?
Okay. And now we need to keep Yashiro.
What the heck?
Two people work out. Taka and
Just the worst.
Please? Huh? How about that?
So then,
I'm at least 30% right.
correct.
Please?
What the heck?
Oh. Hey.
Just the worst.
So,
Huh?
Don't be mean.
Just a second.
No way. Please.
all right. Okay, now we go back to the repository.
What the heck? Just the worst.
Please.
What are you saying?
What?
Makoto.
Hmm?
It would seem...
Why you
Why is
disappear?
that?
No. To reject me so simply.
Anyway,
Okay.
shall we go? Hey. Correct. Hey,
How am I supposed to end?
anyway...
Ah. Alright, so off to the repository. Which is on the 3rd floor. Oh no. Right here. Weird. But only for a moment.
So then... I knew it.
Her movement was so smooth, but she was so calm. Seeing how uncomfortable she were actually made me feel a little more comfortable. Alright, now we need to speak to Kyoko.
I see. Hey,
And then, you remember the wristwatch Taka always wore on his left hand? He did?
so then...
Take a look. It's broken. You can see the hands aren't moving, right? It's most likely broke when you had the encounter with the assailant. And if you notice, the hands are frozen at just past 6 o'clock. That means the watch was broken sometime after 6.
That's right.
But last night Taka's watch definitely wasn't broken.
In other words,
So if it worked at 10 last night, it couldn't have been broken at 6 p.m. So meaning it happened at 6 this morning.
however... Makoto. Because...
Okay.
Hey,
Piece of paper.
is that right? So then...
Now we need to examine Hifumi. From the nurse's office from where he's discovered to the repository. All the way from the first floor to the third floor, all without anyone noticing. I just can't see how that's possible. Further, it seems that Hifumi died from the blow to the head. He was most likely killed using Justice Hammer 3, which was found in the nurse's office. But when we found his body in the nurse's office, his glasses were covered in blood. But now they're spotless. Does that mean someone wiped his glasses clean? But why would they do that, and why? Who would do that, and why? Now we need to speak to Kyoko again? So did you find
Indeed.
anything? A wad of paper?
That's right.
Hifumi had it hidden on him. Hidden?
Indeed.
He stuffed it in his pants, so I can only assume he's hidden it all. In his pants? Wait.
Why
so
is
you-
that?
It was just his cast, not like his socks or anything. I don't know what that means.
Hey.
A note?
So...
That's it. This is the same thing Hero said. Then he was telling the truth.
However...
The time is different. Hiro told us that his note says had to meet at 1 a.m. But the note that they wrote to Hifumi asked them to meet at 6 a.m.
Is that right?
Just because Hifumi had the note doesn't mean it was meant for him.
So...
Part of it was torn off, right? I think there's likely some meaning there. There's some meaning to part of it being ripped.
Hey.
I have no idea.
Then. Hey.
So you're saying that I don't have to think about the handbook this time?
Is that right?
A handbook may play a role, but I don't think I understand. But if Kyoko thinks it's important, I better keep it in mind. Alright. And that's all the evidence.
Are you excited? Are you pumped? It's time for the class trial to begin! Like the bright burst of fireworks, like the flash of a soul clashing with life and death. And so, with no further ado, everyone please meet at the usual spot. Make your way to the red door on the first floor of the school. See you soon!
It would seem...
Yeah, you're right.
Shall we go?
Okay. Alright, and so we're at the point of the class trial. So, here we go. And actually, I'm gonna have to... I don't have the class trial notes out right now, so I'm gonna quickly print them out, and so I'll be right back. But first I need to pull them up. And I'm gonna actually just make my own document in Word. And it's taking long to load. There we go. Oh, and that didn't work. So I'm just gonna have to leave it open. Okay. Who's attacking? Okay. All right. So let's begin the class trial. And actually, I'm gonna have to pop out the chat because I can't see it while I have that other page open. Not like I really need to pop out the chat, but okay. As soon as we were all there.
Monokuma appears!
What the? Two Monokumas? He's multiplied.
Wrong.
An illusion. So,
Boy, tough crowd.
Stop talking.
Okay. Hey! Hey!
Let's go.
What the heck?
What the heck?
Hey,
That's right.
alright. Yeah, good idea. That's right. I have to do it. I can't let whoever killed Hifumi and Takage get away with it. But everyone who's still alive. And for the two that lost their lives. The one who killed Hifumi and Taka, the one who killed two of our friends. The killer is someone right here. I took one last breath and began to walk towards the elevator. Once everyone was aboard. The door closed on their own and the steel box began to move. The clutch of the elevator kept us company as we fell further down. There was no going back. Until we settled all this, we couldn't go anywhere. I'm not sure how long it was before the elevator finally came to a stop. The elevator doors slid open, opening up onto a cruel fate. No. Yeah, so had to check if the stream was still alive.
Just the worst.
Come on.
Let's try and speed through the class trial, as always, because I think we're at like an hour already, and I don't want this stream to be too long. Until the curtain open once more. A deadly fate, a deadly deception, a deadly betrayal, a deadly river, a deadly defense, a deadly fate, a deadly crash trial. Okay, so I got some skills last time. Okay, and that's everything.
Let's begin with a basic explanation of if you can figure out who done it, then I'll punish everyone besides the black. Now then,
We already know who did it.
was that?
It was Hiro. He does not have an alibi for when the murders took place, and we found him in that state.
Don't try and deny it.
I didn't! Someone knocked me out! I was asleep the whole time! I don't know anything about—
Shut your murdering mouth, murderer!
Who are you calling a murder?
I am sorry to say, Hiro, but we do have a blueprint for the suit. Parts we assume were used to, and all of it was found in your room. You have to admit, the evidence is quite. It points to you as having created the suit and wearing it while committing crime after.
How many times do I have to tell you? I don't know! I don't know!
Is Hiro really the killer, or we have to make it clear? Alright, we have to use Hiro's message to shoot blueprints.
everything we found in your room. The blueprints, the suit parts, they are all proof enough that you are the culprit.
Damn it.
I don't know anything about that stuff.
I missed it, so I have to fast through.
It's a conspiracy.
Hero, why? Why did you...
No! Just hold on a second!
I can't remember what the button was to fast forward.
Everything we found in your room. The blueprints, the suit parts.
No, that's wrong.
There we go, got it this time.
Are we sure Hero really made those?
What do you mean?
Well, take a look at it's the note that Hero wrote, asking everyone to meet up. After all, the handwriting's obviously different. When you compare it to the blueprint.
There's no way you could think the same person made both.
Unless that person made it a point to disguise.
No, the differences are bigger than that.
Come on! I'm not smart enough to think of trying to change my...
So Makoto, are you saying you don't think Hero's...
And he is not the only one. I think Hero's innocent. What?
Then who was in that rowboat? Is it like Hero said? Was there really someone running around in a second suit?
The suspicious individual hidden... Go ahead, Makoto. Tell them who it was.
Of course, he passes it off to me.
So? Who was in the rowboat?
The suspicious individual in question was...
I got it! Other than Hero, I can't think of anyone else it could have been. Obviously, he was the one in that particular suit. And we never found any kind of second...
Then there can be no doubt. Hero is the
That doesn't make any sense! You just said Hero didn't do...
It makes perfect sense. Hero was the suspicious individual in the suit, but he's not the culprit.
So what you're saying is...
That's right. The culprit in this case has nothing to do with being in the Robo-Justice suit.
What? Now that's a bold assumption.
And what reason do you have to make such a statement? You do have a reason, yes?
Of course. But before we get to that...
let me do something really quick. That way I can see both of them. Both the streams. I'll move this over here. There we go. Now I can see the time and if it's still live. Okay.
There's something else we need to clarify first. So let's get that out of the way.
Hey, stop trying to boss us around!
All things have a proper order.
So what is it? What needs to be clarified?
We must clarify the method of transportation for Taka's. It would seem that his corpse was moved using certain... Makoto, can you tell us what they were?
The things that were moved used... we need to select the blue tarp.
I got it!
I always forget that to select the item, it's a right click, not left click. Select repository dolly.
I got it! They were a dolly and a tarp, right?
What's with that attitude?
So, let's see if I can... Taka's body disappeared from the equipment room. And then we rediscovered it and when we found it for the second time, it was wrapped in a blue tarp, right? It was the same tarp that, up until then, was stored in the equipment room. So the killer must have seen it there, and decided to use it when they moved Taka's body. That way, they wouldn't leave any bloodstains while they were moving it.
Okay, that explains the tarp. And the dolly?
Same thing. I'm sure the dolly was in the equipment room when we first found Taka's body. But when the body disappeared, so did the dolly. Later, when Taka's body reappeared in the repository, so did the dolly.
In other words, you think they used the dolly to move the body. But are you sure you are not... Huh? Are you absolutely positive the dolly was in the equipment room when we found that dolly was made specifically for moving large objects between the repository and the art room? It would be very strange indeed to discover it had made its way to the equipment room. Is it not possible that it was in the repository all along, and you simply didn't...
She's raised an objection. How do you...
There is no shame in being wrong. Nobody expects much from you, and we have all accepted the fact that you rarely understand what is going on around you.
I hate her so much. Reloading. See your ammo count. And now just a single remark. Once you run it, you can't destroy any more statements, no matter how locked on you are. However, you can reload by pressing the tab key. Just like locking on, you have to press the tab key with the tempo. Basically, remember that the tab key now has a function with the RBL. You will automatically reload at the start of fever time, and your ammo will not decrease.
You have it wrong. I cannot agree. You are a fool. So pathetic. Lies will get you nowhere. Do your worst. Away with you. You miserable wretch. I cannot agree. You are a fool. Lies will get you nowhere. Do your worst. You miserable wretch. You have it wrong. I cannot agree. You are a fool. So pathetic. I cannot agree.
This should prove it.
There we go. Well, for once I actually got it on the first try.
If you're asking for proof that the dolly moved, I have it right here. When I found the dolly in the repository, one of the wheels had a blood stain on it. There was a pool of blood in the equipment room with a tire mark in it that matched the dolly wheel's tread. The killer probably rolled the dolly through the blood on accident. As they wheeled the body out of it, and as the blood dried on the tire, they moved the body into the repository. So there's my proof that the dolly was used to move
Well, anyway, that was just something we had to get out of the way. Let's get back to the main subject.
Yeah, the subject of how Robo-Justice didn't do it. Because if it's not a killer, what kind of robot?
I'm not sure that...
I'd be happy to explain why the occupant of the suit couldn't possibly be the... If you look back on how the body was transported, it will become immediately obvious.
How the body was moved, it will be clear why the person... What does that mean? Use Okay, so now we get to the Robo-Justice costume. And we have to shoot Bend over.
As we know, Taka was killed in the equipment room. And from there, the body was moved to the repository, correct?
Yeah, the culprit wrapped the body in the tarp, then loaded it onto the dolly and wheeled it off, right?
Now, keep in mind that the dolly doesn't have a handle.
Well, yeah, but even without a handle, all you'd have to do is bend over. Then you could push the dolly no problem. So the killer just crouched down and carted the body off to the repository.
If you accept, then you must realize that
Sorry, I don't think I realize anything.
As we know, and from there...
Yeah, then loaded it on...
Now, keep in mind...
Well, yeah, all you'd have to do is bend over. Then you could push
Damn
the
it,
dolly
missed
up
it again.
and carted the body...
If you accept, then you must realize that...
Sorry, I don't think I realize anything.
As we know, and from there...
Yeah, then loaded it on...
Now, keep in mind...
Well, yeah, all you'd have to do is bend over.
There we go, got it.
Nothing's wrong. You're absolutely right that you could push a dolly without a handle if you stoop down. But if you were wearing that suit, do you think you could actually get into a position like that?
What do you mean?
Think back to what you said when we were all checking out the suit together. When you're in that suit, not only can you not see your feet, but you can't even bend at the waist. Am I right about that?
Now that you mention it,
It seems like it'd be awfully hard to push that dolly if you couldn't bend over.
Well, what's to stop you from simply pushing the dolly with your feet?
When you can't even see your feet? You really think someone could kick the dolly all that way?
yeah, it'd be totally impossible. Not that I can say for sure myself.
On top of that, if you were wearing such a rigid, cumbersome suit, it's very unlikely you would have the dexterity to go about wrapping the body in a tarp.
Well, I mean, isn't that just a matter of taking off the suit when you're...
Because you can't take it off by yourself.
I don't think taking off the suit was an option.
That's true. It seems impossible to put the suit on or take it off without help.
Then, you really can't take it off by yourself? Hero,
Of course I wasn't making it up.
If he could have gotten it off by himself, I don't think he would have let us see him wear it. Showing up in the suit was basically an invitation for everyone to suspect.
Yeah, that's right.
so... It's really...
To be clear, whoever did move the body, it couldn't have been Hiro in the robot.
No, wait. Just a second, if you please. Have you forgotten about the picture that I took? You all got a good look at it, did you not? The image, if whoever was in that suit is not the culprit, how do you Besides, do you remember what the now So long as those facts exist, the the individual inside the suit and the culprit are one and the same.
Yeah.
Hold on a sec.
It's still far too early to reach the sides. There's no hurry before we rush to a verdict. Shouldn't we explore instead of seizing on one viewpoint? The truth is uncovered by analyzing things from every...
Perhaps, but where do we go from?
Let's review this series of unfortunate events from the beginning. Maybe we'll uncover something new.
What a pain!
I don't disagree, but our lives are on the line. If this is what it takes, we have to do.
Plus, maybe we'll get to find out where the heck Kyoko was when everything went...
All right then. Let's take another look back at what happened. I suppose we could start with this. Four of us gathered together in the dining hall. Makoto, Hina, Kyoko, and we waited there for quite a while, but nobody else showed up. So we went to look for that was around 8 a.m.
And as soon as we split up, Kyoko went...
Soon after that, Hina found Celeste in the rec room and quickly came to get Makoto and me.
It seems I was unconscious for about an hour after I was attacked by my mistress. I know it was an hour because I remember being attacked a little after.
That was when we saw Celeste's picture and discovered that her assailant had been wearing a strap. As it turns out, it also soon became clear that this same Robo-Justice had a... We were soon joined in our search by Byakuya and Toko, and then went on to find He was injured, so we took him to the nurse's office and resumed our search for the suspect. But not long after leaving the nurse...
When Celeste told us that, we decided to split up and search, and soon after that...
I saw someone moving around on the 3rd floor, and I yelled out to everyone as...
And then... At that point, we decided to... Celeste, Hina, and I went while Sakura, Byakuya, and Toko chased out... When we got back to the nurse's office, And that's when we heard the body. I left Celeste and Hina.
Meanwhile, we must have found both bodies because we heard the same announcement.
And that's when I told you guys. Then the three of us had, but right after we ran into Celeste.
Fire disappeared.
We rushed back to the nurse's office and saw that she was.
Then we remembered we'd left Toko passed out in the equipment room, so we hurried back again. But when we got there, we discovered that now Taka's body had also gone. Next thing we knew, we were searching the school for 2 missing dead, and after some
Celeste informed us that she'd found the bodies, and we all headed to the which is where we rediscovered the corpse.
I think that about covers.
I see. The whole thing sounds. It certainly seems to me that these are not a simple series of connected events.
Okay, well, if that's true.
Rather than a single series of events, I think we have to consider each murder a separate situation. And from there, we can uncover the contradictions surrounding all of. Now then, let's get started, beginning with what happened to Taka. So, regarding Taka's death, I wonder if he died before Hifumi, or perhaps it was after?
We already know what order they were killed in. Taka came last.
Oh, I missed it.
What makes you say that?
Because of the number.
It's true that he flew while Taka's death.
See? So it's obvious Taka came after.
So, regarding Taka's death, I wonder if he, or perhaps it was after?
We already know what order they were killed in.
Okay.
Taka came last.
What makes you say that?
Because of the numbering of the justice hit.
No, it's wrong.
Alright, got it.
Hold on. There's no reason to assume that the hammers were used in the same. If anything, that's just another way the killer tried to disguise.
So you're saying the culprit wanted us to think the hammers were used but in reality, Taka was killed before Hifumi? Okay then, let's see the proof.
Okay, and we have to spell wristwatch. I S T
Now I understand.
There we go.
I've got it. Taka's wristwatch. See? Look! It broke with the hands pointing just past.
It must have gotten broken when he was attacked by the killer. Because as of last night. So if it wasn't broken after 6 last night, then he must have been attacked around.
And that would be his official time.
But if that's true, then he was killed well before Hifumi.
And before Celeste was attacked this morning. Which.
That's right. Taka was killed before any of the other incidents.
That simple fact slipped past all. We made the wrong assumption about the order of events. All because of those.
That's exactly why the culprit wrote the numbers on each hammer and had them increase in that way. When we saw how they were used in each incident, we easily make that wrong assumption.
Now, if Taka was killed around 6, then everyone's alibis for his murder go out the because when he was killed, we hadn't met up in the
That may be true in the case of but all of our alibis still hold true for him.
That's right. With him, at least. When we heard Hifumi Hifumi screaming, we were all together. Except for Hiro and Kyoko. Then we all ran down to the nurse's office. That's totally true! We're all in the...
Oh, I know! They must have recorded him screaming on a tape or something, then played it.
If that's true, where's the...
I don't know.
Don't just go making stuff up.
Anyway, we all have rock-solid alibis for when we heard Hifumi scream. Since all of us were there together, clearly none of us could have...
And it does not stop there. There was also the moment when we discovered his body had disappeared. When his body vanished from the nurse's office, Hina and I were in the bathroom together, while everyone else was in the equipment. And then, there's the disappearance of Taka's body from the equipment. At that time, we were all gathered together in the nurse's office because of Hifumi going...
Well, don't forget, I was passed out in the equipment room the whole time.
Wait, then what if Genocide Jill did it? She could have dragged Taka's body out of there.
Even if she could pull that off, there's no way she could have done the same with Hifumi, because, as we just established, she was passed out in the equipment room when his body disappeared.
Besides, I didn't do either of them any...
In other words, it is impossible that any of us could have killed Hifumi, or, on the other hand, Hiro and Kyoko had disappeared, so they most certainly could have done those things.
For now, we can't get fixated on who did it, or we'll just keep going. So instead of who, I propose we start talking about how. In particular, I think we need to figure out how Hifumi's body...
That's true. We searched everywhere, but we couldn't figure out how to explain his body. And according to what Celeste... His body apparently disappeared in the 1 minute her and Hina took. But to carry that much weight from the first floor up to the third in that short amount of time?
Oh man, yeah! There's no way! It'd be
Well, what if I told you there was a way to make the impossible
What?
if the dead body were to move itself?
The dead body?
I don't think it has anything to do with the occult. We thought Hifumi was dead, but perhaps in reality he was still alive.
He was... alive?
Are you saying Hifumi wasn't carried out of the nurse's office, but simply walked out on his own?
But I mean, we found his body. He was dead.
Perhaps he was simply playing dead.
That... it...
Alright, need to absorb someone else's discovery.
Are you saying that when we first found Hifumi in the nurse's office, there's a chance he was actually still alive?
No. It is impossible. Hifumi was dead, without a doubt.
And you know that how?
Surely you heard the body discovery announcement along with the rest of us. Hifumi's dead body had been found. And that is why the announcement was made.
Are we really so sure about that? Maybe the announcement was intended to signal someone else's discovery.
Oh shit. Ah, damn.
Shit!
Are you saying that when we first... there's a chance you... No. Hifumi was dead, and you know that. Surely you heard the body, but Hifumi's dead, and that is...
Are we really? Maybe the announcement was intended to signal someone else's discovery.
Alright, and...
Are you saying that when we first found Hifumi in the nurse's office, there's a chance he was actually still alive?
No. It is impossible. Hifumi was dead, without a doubt.
And you know that how?
Surely you heard the body discovery announcement along with the rest of us. Hifumi's dead body had been found.
No, that's wrong! Was the body discovery announcement that was made really intended for Hifumi?
Of course it was. The announcement played right after we
Maybe. But that was also the same time that Taka's...
That's right. It wasn't long after finding his body that we heard the...
So there's a good chance we've made a mistake in there somewhere. I think we've confused whether the announcement was for Hifumi.
First of all, if 2 bodies had been found, there really should have been 2 announcements.
Maybe Monokuma simply got lazy and rolled them together into...
What do you say, Monokuma?
Well, it's a very sensitive issue, so I can't go into too much. But what I can say about the body discovery announcement is it's only broadcast when 3 or more people find a dead body for the first time.
That didn't answer our question, man. We're asking if you're...
No, actually, that was plenty. He said it's only broadcast when a body is discovered for the first time. Even if we find the same body again later, he won't make the announcement again. If that's true, then why was the announcement made again later on?
Huh? Later.
Exactly. We heard the body discovery announcement twice.
Hold on. Yeah.
I got it! We heard it a second time in the repository, when we rediscovered the 2 bodies. It didn't seem weird at the time, but it contradicts what Monokuma just told.
Exactly. If we were actually rediscovering both bodies, the announcement shouldn't have played.
And in reality, when the 2 dead bodies were rediscovered, one of them being discovered for the first time.
So, when we found Hifumi the first time in the nurse's office, he wasn't actually dead yet, meaning he wasn't actually found dead until we came upon him in the repository.
And that's just part of... There's one other thing that leads me to believe he was still alive in the nurse...
I know! I think he was super good at playing dead! Bada bing, bada bing!
That is the worst logic I have. But honestly, I do not think there's anything that can prove he was still...
Okay then, let's take another look at the events surrounding the discovery of his... Then it should become clear whether he was really alive or not.
This whole thing is...
Yeah, we're gonna use Hifumi's glasses.
Well, here's one thing we do know. The first time we found Hifumi's body was in the nurse's office. And then, while me and Celeste were in the bathroom, his body disappeared.
And the next time we saw his body, it was in the repository.
But when you compare his body before being moved and his body after being moved, other than the change in how it was positioned, there was no notable difference.
No, that's wrong!
Alright.
In fact, there was one clear difference between Hifumi in the nurse's office and his glasses. That fact alone proves that he was...
Perhaps you'd like to feel the...
When we found Hifumi in the nurse's office... But when we found him again later in the they were spotless. And I found the item he used to wipe them clean in the nurse...
And what we need to select is the glasses cleaning.
I got it! It was a glasses cleaning cloth featuring a certain cartoon mascot.
Alright, I actually have to go to the bathroom really quick, so I'm gonna be right back. Oh wait. Sorry about that. I forgot that my throat is bothering me, so I needed a drink. There we go. Saying all these lines. Huh? Oh, okay, there we go. That was weird. It said my stream was stopped.
One look at the bloodstain on the cloth should make things clear. This piece of cloth was used to wipe Hifumi's glasses clean. And the mascot on the cloth is the same one that's on the digital camera. And whose digital camera was it? Hifumi.
The character was Princess Piggles from Demon Angel Pretty Pudgy Princess.
I highly doubt anyone but Hifumi would have brought something like this to
I see your point. And the only people here who wear...
I wouldn't be caught dead using a tacky piece of garbage like that.
A few tissues is all I need to keep my glasses clean.
Then there's no question. It belonged to...
So what you're saying...
What I'm saying is, the blood on his glasses was wiped away using his own glasses clean.
Even if that is true, it does not mean he wiped the blood off himself.
But who would benefit from a clean pair of glasses other than the glasses?
That's a good point.
Then it must have been him.
So let's assume that Hifumi was still alive in the nurse's. He pretends to be dead. Then when he's alone, he wipes his glasses clean so he can see. Then he stands up and walks out on his own 2 feet. And with that, the impossible task of moving his copious corpse becomes possible, wouldn't you?
But then, if he was just pretending to be dead, what was with all that blood? Was it paint or something?
The fridge in the nurse's office contains packs of blood for emergencies. He probably used one of the...
He figured if he was gonna play dead, he should go all out. So he just dumped it everywhere. But he got crazy with it and had to wipe his glasses off when he was done. God, what an idiot!
And if Hifumi was still alive at that point, the disappearance of Taka's body is easily explained. It should be perfectly obvious who must have moved Taka's corpse.
Shoot! I got it!
Yeah, there was a mistake in that.
While we were all gathered in the nurse's office, he went to the equipment room and took Taka's body.
That also explains how the door to the repository got locked.
The door was locked? Well, after the bodies disappeared, we all went looking for them, right? So me and Sakura headed for the repository. But when we got there, the door was locked.
And the repository door can only be locked from the... Which means, when Hina and Sakura got to the repository, someone was already...
And it could only have been Hifumi, who just finished stashing Taka's body there.
He convinced us all he was dead, and when he saw his chance, he dragged Taka's body to the repository. So, Hifumi wasn't just another victim in this case. He was one of the assailants.
But that means he took part in the murders.
I just can't believe it. If you're having trouble, would you like me to show you one more piece of evidence?
There's more?
Oh, absolutely. The single biggest fact pointing to his involvement has yet to be revealed. You know what I'm talking about, right, Makoto? The item he took off of Taka's lifeless body?
I got it! You're talking about the note Hifumi had hidden away.
Hidden?
That's right. We found it stuffed in his pants.
What? In pants?
Yeah.
Okay, well, forget about the pants for now. Take a look at what the note said.
That's the note I was telling you about. The one that told me. Huh? Wait, this one's a little different. In my note, Monokuma can't find.
I see. Then this note isn't the same one Hiro.
It's not the same.
In other words, the killer got in touch with another person besides, and that person could only have been. I got it! That's right! The killer used this note to draw out Taka and murder him.
Hello? Over here! Objection! Objection! I don't really understand what's going on, but Hifumi had that letter, right? So whoever wrote it wasn't drawing out TikTok.
Just to be clear, TikTok is Taka and Huffy is Hifumi.
Oh, yes! Why must you ruin it every...
We're gonna use broken wristwatch.
Huffy had the note, right? Then the person it was intended for must have been Huffy!
But remember what the note said. What time did it say to meet?
6 a.m., I believe.
The time doesn't matter! The note has nothing to do with TikTok!
No, it's wrong! No, there absolutely is a connection.
What the hell are you talking about?
The note said to meet at 6 a.m., which is the same time Taka was. You've already proven that using his. But there's more. Look where the note says the equipment room.
Which is where Taka was.
So, Taka was murdered at both the time and place written in the. I think that should be plenty to show that this note was definitely.
Well, when you put it like that...
There we go.
No further objections!
Then someone used that note to trick Taka. Just to screw. The culprit really is a cold-blooded monster. Telling people they found a.
But if they gave the note to Taka, what was Hifumi?
Stuffed down his pants, no less!
Most likely, Hifumi stole it off Taka's corpse after he died.
Where's your proof? Go ahead.
I got it! When I searched Taka's body, I saw that his lifeless hand was gripping a small scrap of paper.
Alright, we're almost done.
If I'm right about this, the sheet of paper this piece... I knew it! It fits perfectly with the note we found.
Then Taka's scrap and Hifumi's...
Yup. They're from the same piece of...
Hifumi had the note meant for Taka, while Taka's corpse still grasped a small... There's only one way...
Taka died clutching the note. Hifumi tried to free the note from his death grip, leaving behind only one small scrap. Did I get all that?
That means Hifumi knew the note was.
Exactly. Which proves that he was an accomplice in the...
Whoa. Yeah. After seeing all this, Hifumi was super involved in this. In fact, he was behind the whole thing.
Sorry. When we found him in the repository, Hifumi was truly and completely dead. The second body discovery announcement proves that.
So then...
Whoever did is the mastermind. The true...
He was killed in the repository. So he must have been killed not long after transporting Taka's body.
So, he must have been killed after Taka's body vanished. But before we found both bodies...
During that time, we'd all split up and were searching for Taka's missing. In other words, during that time, none of us had...
Wait! But me and Sakura...
Stop trying to steal the spotlight, you stupid walrus! Who are you calling a wall?
Anyway, when they were killed bothers me too. But there's something that's been bothering me even more.
And what might that...
The weapon they used to kill him.
The weapon?
Yeah. 'Cause I mean, The way Taka and Hifumi were killed was almost the same, with them having similar fractures. But Justice Hammer 3 and 4 were still laying around in the nurse's office. So if Hifumi was killed in the culprit would have had to grab one of the hammers, kill Hifumi, then put the hammer back where they found it. But wouldn't that be seriously risky for him?
I'm surprised. It seems there's some semblance of a brain knocking around that skull of yours.
Hell yeah, it's packed in there good.
He's right, though. I don't understand it either. The Monokuma file makes it clear that they were killed using similar instruments. But if the hammers were already laying around those other rooms...
So the question is, how could the culprit have gotten their hands on either of the hammers? Personally, I haven't So which hammer was used to attack Celeste? Number 1 or number 2?
Those were accounted for in other rooms too. And I don't think either one is big enough to kill someone.
Is it not possible they used a different...
I don't think it is possible. They were both killed with the same kind of...
So then, what was used to kill Hifumi?
Alright. Alright, so we need to use the Spot This Hammer, which is already selected.
What was used to kill Hifumi? Was it Justice Hammer 3? Maybe Justice Hammer 4?
Well, whatever it was, there's one thing we have to figure out. How was the culprit able to move around so freely with the weapon? How did nobody witness them carrying it?
Sounds like a Justice Hammer 5 is about to make its appearance! Check out murdergear.com/hammertime for more info!
Well, one thing seems pretty clear. The murder weapon had to be one of the Justice...
No, that's wrong! The murder weapon wasn't a Justice Hammer at all. No.
But... seriously?
Specifically, a hammer from the repository. The killer could have easily used that to kill him. Now, all the hammers in the repository were covered in flecks of grit and debris, but for some reason, one of them had been scrubbed clean.
Huh?
And the reason it had been scrubbed clean was most likely because it was used if the hammer got covered in Hifumi's blood. Of course, I'd also like to point out that the repository has all kinds of hammers. Big ones, and even some flat mallet. I think whoever made the Justice Hammers used those as a basis for their design.
If that's true, that would explain the Monokuma file's note about the wounds being similar.
So Hifumi moved Taka's body to the repository, where someone then used the hammer to kill him.
And whoever did that is the true killer. The one Hifumi was working with. And the one who betrayed him.
Hold on a moment. I still think it's strange to assume someone was working together. The way the graduation rule works, there is no benefit to helping someone else carry out. So the idea that anyone would work together like that is simply ludicrous. We talked about this, did we?
Alright, so we need to do the absorb again for this one.
Based on the rules that have been laid out for us, even if more than one person is complicit in the murder, only the one who actually carried out the act can graduate and survive. Assuming the rule holds true, it is simply impossible that two people work together on this.
That is how the rule was explained to us.
But that only really applies if there's one murder, right? In this case, however, there were two murders.
Alright. Got it. And we need to shoot impossible.
Based on the rules that have been laid out for us, even if more than one, only the one who actually carried out, assuming the rule holds true.
It is...
No, that's wrong! Since there were two murders, it's at least plausible that more than one person was involved.
What do you mean?
If there'd only been one murder, then yes, the idea of an accomplice isn't really worth considering. Naturally, if only one person can be saved per murder, An accomplice has no risk versus reward benefit.
Risk versus reward.
The payoff for working together. The reward that balances out the risk of taking part in the scheme. There's no point in being someone's accomplice if there's no benefit to you. However, if there were some potential mutual reward for the risk, then cooperate.
You're saying that two people could act as each other's accomplices to commit two separate murders.
I think that's what the true killer told Hifumi. They would each have an accomplice for their crime, and based on the case's events, Hifumi would have been the first one to act, murdering Taka. They made him carry out the first murder so he couldn't back out of helping them later on.
So in this case, there wasn't one single person committing multiple murders. Instead, each person killed someone, creating two separate incidents. And it only looked like one person because that's how the true killer designed it to. A single suspicious individual, a similar weapon used in each crime, disappearing by creating one seamless set of circumstances. They made it look like one person was behind it all.
The mastermind picked their target and managed to convince him to go along with their... And then, to avoid the no accomplices rule, they simply killed their accomplice, which, if true, means that betraying Hifumi was part of the plan from the very...
That's just awful! How could anyone be so cruel?
You think so? I can't help but admire its cunning. Still, their choice of accomplice seems... odd.
I understand how an accomplice could be involved. But then, who was the one pulling Hifumi's...
That's problem numero uno!
And we need to select. Celeste.
Here's my answer.
Finally.
It was Celeste.
So I'm the suspicious individual now, am I? I really do hate this kind of
A joke?
So what you are saying then is that I specifically chose to work together with the idea that I would choose to spend any amount of time that I would go within 10 feet of that
Shit for brains, that lazy work goddamn idiot!
Pardonnez-moi.
Oh, she revealed her true voice.
To be clear, there is evidence to support.
Is that so?
There was certain behavior that was common only to the two of you. Considering what we've learned so far, it only further proves that the two of you were working together.
Alright.
I got it! The behavior they had in common has to do with the suspicious individual in the suit. The only ones who ever actually saw Robo-Justice firsthand were Celeste and Hifumi.
Shush, the adults are talking. As he said, only Celeste and Hifumi ever laid eyes on the costumed individual. If we accept that Hifumi was one of the culprits, we can't help but suspect what Celeste has said as well.
Are you saying everything they told us was a lie?
After taking Hifumi to the nurse's office, we all began our search for this individual. And not too long after that, do you remember? We headed to the second floor specifically because of what she claimed. Next, to draw us all to the physics lab up on the...
She let out a blood-curdling...
And when we'd all come to see what was wrong, what... Once she'd done her job of getting us all up to the physics lab, it was time for her partner to...
It was to get us to divide into two groups, so that we would discover both bodies.
In fact, Celeste was precisely the one who proposed...
Yeah, that's true.
Well, if Celeste and Hifumi were working together, all those chance events suddenly become connected. And on top of that, that piercing cry of yours... That was to signal Hifumi, wasn't it? It was your way of telling him, we are on the 3rd floor. Everything's going according to plan. Why else would you let out a scream that could have carried across the sea?
I just realized another... When we found Hifumi in the nurse's office, who we now know was only pretending to be... Celeste, you were the first one to say he'd been murdered. You wanted to make sure we wouldn't have any doubt in our minds.
I don't believe it. Everything, the whole thing was one big act.
Hina, you were with Celeste when Hifumi's body disappeared, right?
Yeah. I was feeling kind of sick, so Celeste took me to the bathroom. Wait! Then that was...
She wasn't worried about you. She just saw a chance to help Hifumi sneak out of the nurse's office.
Each piece isn't much by itself, but start putting them together and the picture gets very ugly indeed. Wouldn't you agree, Celeste?
I have no idea what you...
Don't bother trying to... You made one.
Oh, did I?
I didn't even catch it myself when you first said. Looking back, I can say that one little slip-up was your undoing.
What are you talking?
I'm talking about what you said after Hifumi's body disappeared and we returned to the nurse's office.
I remember her saying that too, but I don't understand what's so strange about it.
Then pay attention. Sakura, Toko, and I were first to discover Taka's body in the equipment room. Then Makoto showed up and told us Hifumi had been killed. So Sakura and I left with Makoto. Once we were in the hall, we ran into Celeste, and the 4 of us headed to the nurse's now. The entire time we were together, none of us said anything about Taka being dead. Think about it. Celeste's comment doesn't make sense. It was completely out of place.
Yeah, I see what you're talking about. Although I don't really get what it...
You hear that, Celeste? Everyone's having some trouble understanding. Could you repeat what you said? If you're really not the culprit, you shouldn't have any problem repeating.
All I said was... They must really be enjoying this.
Hang on. Okay, so we have to absorb. So strange. I'm just gonna fast forward through everything.
We are going to die. And that is...
And that's all it takes. What was so strange about Celeste's comment?
And so it's at the end.
All I said, they must really enjoying the sight of us. They must be... We are going to die. Just like... And that is all I said.
And that's all it takes to finish this. It's obvious, isn't it? What was so strange about Celeste's comment?
All I said was... They must really be enjoying this. Enjoying the sight of us standing around. They must be positively... We are all going to die here. We are going to die. Just like...
No, that's wrong. That's right. There's no reason Celeste should have said, just like those guys died. When she said that, none of us had told her Taka was dead.
Exactly. And we didn't run into her until after we were all out in the hall. So there was never any chance for her to have seen his body in the equipment room for herself.
So how did you know, Celeste? How did you know more than one person had been killed? And how did you know they were both guys? Because Kyoko had also disappeared, right? So she could have been dead too.
You all have such vivid imaginations. You know that?
Imaginations?
You claim that I was lying when I told you about the suspicious person. Then what about the picture I took? How do you explain this picture of the costumed villain dragging Hifumi away?
It has to be some kind of... So let's put the suit on. And then she used the...
Have you so quickly forgotten? Yes, I happen to know that this particular... In other words, it is an unassailable fact that this is a picture of Hifumi being if everything I told you was a lie.
Simple. Are we sure that's really a picture of the suspect dragging Hifumi away?
What could you possibly mean by...
Surely there are other explanations than the one you've offered up.
No, there is no...
A gun! It's not a picture of the suspect dragging Hifumi away. I would say it's a picture of Hifumi dragging the suspect away.
That's certainly within the realm of possible. The one being dragged off in that picture isn't Hifumi, but the person in the robot suit. We've simply been led to believe that it's the other way around. And the strange costume might only exist to lead us astray even farther. If you saw someone wearing something like that in this situation, of course you'd notice and be suspicious.
That's what happened! You put me to sleep and made me out to be the bad guy in all this!
So is utterly impossible. Hifumi was dragging him away? Ridiculous.
Is it? I don't think it's ridiculous at all.
Then shut your mouth and allow me to educate you.
Okay, we need to use Robot Justice costume. So we're gonna have to change it. Yeah.
You dressed me up in that suit after I passed out! Then you just draped me across Hifumi and had him carry my weight! You tried to make me look like the bad guy!
Like I said, ridiculous. As you can see in the picture, the suspect is standing perfectly upright. If the person inside the suit was unconscious, there's no way they could stand up straight like that.
No, that's wrong! No. Even if the person inside the suit were unconscious, they could still stand up like that, because that Robo-Justice suit had a certain characteristic.
You can't bend at the waist.
They totally made a mistake when they made it, so it couldn't bend at the waist.
I'm not so sure that I think the suit was designed from the beginning to be used the way it was.
Celeste and Hifumi took the suit they'd specially designed and stuffed Hiro into it. That's how they were able to fake that whole thing. The point of it all was to make us believe whoever was in the suit was to blame.
Well then, I suppose this is checkmate.
Checkmate? Don't make me laugh, you idiot! What do you mean, checkmate? So clearly, you want to cram me into your little guilty box. Well, there's one little problem.
Have you already forgotten what Hifumi told us as he lay dying? When we asked him who had attacked him, his answer was quite clear, was it not? He said, and I quote, "Yes, in other words, Yasuhiro Hagakure!"
Wait, but my name isn't really Yasuhiro! It's actually...
Your confusing statements don't make any sense. You're only making things more complicated.
He did say Yasuhiro, but are we sure he was really pointing the finger at Hiro?
What the hell are you talking about? I'll burn you alive!
Kyoko, what do you mean by that?
Think back to how Hifumi used to talk to us. How did he refer to each of us?
He said people's last names.
A gun! That's right! Our last names! He called us all by our last name!
Exactly. I know I heard him say Mr. Naegi more than once, for example. So if Hifumi did mean to say Hiro's name, he would have said his last name, Hagakure.
I'm sure it was just incidental. By chance, his first name. Indecent?
Don't talk.
Random chance. Now isn't that a convenient explanation? No. There's no reason to think he would have said the name any different than normal, but he must have run out of energy before he could say any more.
So Hifumi was trying to tell us the last name of whoever killed him?
But the name he said doesn't apply to anyone here.
Well, no. Hold on. There's one person it could apply to, and that's Celeste. She never actually told us what her real name is.
What did you just say? To think you'd take your false accusation so far, I don't know whether to laugh or spit. Come on! Enough with your idiotic blather. Yasuhiro is a loser's name. Do I look like a loser to you? Well, do I? What? I think I've earned the right to be a little on edge.
Okay, then fill us in. What's your real name?
Make sure your ear holes are wide open and listen up! My real name is Celestia Ludenberg. Could you please stop making me repeat myself?
She almost said it. I have to use the e-handbook.
Hifumi was trying to tell us something. He wanted us to know the killer's last name, Yasuhiro.
If there's one person here who might have that last name,
It would have to be you, Celeste. You haven't told anyone what your real name is.
how many times do I have to tell you? My name is...
Celestia Ludenberg, god damn it!
How long do you plan to go on pretending?
I'm not pretending. It's the truth. And since you have no way to contradict me...
No, that's wrong! That's it! The handbook!
What?
Anytime you turn your handbook on, it shows the owner's name when it boots up, right? Monokuma told us all about it. So all we have to do is check her handbook, and that's how we can find out Celeste's real name.
That's an invasion of privacy. I refuse to cooperate.
Celeste, can you please just tell us what really happened, please? Just...
Even when I'm put in check, it's just my nature not to give up because until the game's over, you never know what might happen.
Fine then. Let me settle it. Let me go over the case again, from the beginning, and shed light on all your crimes.
Okay, and now it's closing arguments.
And that'll bring every...
Alright. Two. 1 o'clock. All right. Oh wait. Okay. Okay. So next is the picture. I don't know why that one's there, because that's not a part of this. And then the clock at 6. Justice Hammer 2. Justice Hammer 4, Justice Hammer 2, Justice Hammer 3. Oh. And Hifumi pushes the dolls.
The killer is you!
There we go.
Before anything, the killer persuaded someone to help carry out the murder. And that person was... Hifumi. With an accomplice, the killer was able to execute a number of otherwise impossible schemes. First, they convinced someone to meet them in the rec room last night at 1 in the morning. That someone they met with was Hiro. The murderous duo intended to pass Hiro off as the prime suspect. So when they met up with him, they drugged him, knocked him out, and stuffed him into the Robo-Justice suit. Next, Hifumi positioned himself to make it look like Robo-Justice was attacking him, while the killer used a digital camera to take pictures of the assault. They did all this just to create evidence that would put the suspicion on Hiro. When they were done with him, they shoved him, still unconscious, into the pool room locker. And then finally, at 6 a.m., they moved into the murder phase of their plan. They called Taka to the equipment room. And that's where Hifumi killed him, making it the scene of the first murder. The murder weapon was Justice Hammer 4, which was left there in the equipment room. The reason Hammer number 4 was used was to create confusion about the order of the crimes. So, next they falsified 2 more assault incidents. For these attacks, the killers pretended to be the victims, to solidify Robo-Justice as the suspect. The first fake incident was the attack in the rec room. There, the killers wanted us to see Justice Hammer 1, and the Robo-Justice pictures they'd take. They wanted to make sure we bought the surprise attack store. The second fake incident was the attack in the library. This time, they planted Justice Hammer 2, and an injured Hifumi, to sell us that. With these 2 incidents, the killers were able to create a certain preconception in our minds that the suspect was increasing the size of the hammers and attacking people in order as they did. We fell right into their trap and started looking for the suspect based on that. But while we did that, we left Hifumi alone in the nurse's office. This was exactly what Hifumi was hoping for. He took a blood packet from the refrigerator and Justice Hammer 3 and turned the room into a crime scene in which he himself had apparently been brutally murdered. He let out a scream to draw us back, and when we returned, that's what we found. Meanwhile, the other group that had been out searching found Taka's body at the same time. So when we heard the body discovery announcement, we naturally assumed it was for Hifumi. We left the nurse's office, and Hifumi once again took advantage of the situation. He simply got up and made his escape. When we learned his body had disappeared, we all rushed back to the nurse's office, and once again, Hifumi had the chance he was waiting for. This time, he snuck into the equipment room. He wrapped Taka's body in a tarp and used the dolly to move it all the way down to the repository. That explains how each of the bodies disappeared. But even Hifumi didn't know what the true killer had in mind for their final act. Their plan all along was to kill Hifumi and get rid of the one person who could betray them. And they did it using an ordinary, everyday hammer from the repository. That should cover everything that happened in this case. And the villain behind it all is...
Celeste.
Sorry,
you lose.
I lost? When was the last time I was forced to utter such words? They hang heavy around my neck.
Then you admit it? You're the killer?
Listen to you, trying to take charge, as if you're my private instructor. I, Celestia Ludenberg. Actually, no. Taiko Yasuhiro is fine.
Taiko?
So, you finally accepted.
I'm the kind of person, once I've lost, I don't like things to drag on.
Interesting.
So that's her real voice and her real name. A.
Okay, Monokuma. I'm ready to begin. Or, no, I suppose this is the end, isn't it?
It is indeed the moment we've all been waiting for. Time to vote. Okay, if you would, please locate your lever, and when the votes are tallied, who will become the Will you make the right choice or the dreadfully wrong one? What's it gonna be? What's it gonna be?
Celeste. Or rather, Taiko. Taiko Yasuhiro.
Honestly.
Alright,
I
let's
knew it.
speed through this. So we can get to the execution.
So
So we
then,
can finally get rid of her.
Indeed.
Say what?
just a second. In other words,
Indeed.
I see.
Actually,
What?
are you okay with this? So then...
Damnation! Say what?
As for me...
Oh.
As for me...
What? Damnation! Say what? Leon?
Most unfortunate.
Hmm?
Actually...
What?
Indeed. Honestly.
I swear!
Actually...
Hmm?
I see.
Indeed.
Alright, hurry up.
But
Let's...
Well,
Are you...
So in the end,
What the heck? Well,
don't be mean.
I wonder about that.
Why?
What the heck? Hmm...
But
You little bitch! Hey! You little bitch! This is fine. Honestly. As for me, isn't it wonderful? This is fine. There is nothing to be done.
Just the worst.
Oh. Do you understand?
What is this?
Yes, indeed. Isn't it wonderful?
hey,
Chills! Kill! Now then, I prepared a very special punishment!
For her, the ultimate gambler.
Let's get everything we've got! It's punishment time!
I guess I'll let Kyoko hold on to this. What?
This is
Will it really give you the hope you're looking for? I can't say I ever saw it that way. Which is why... Actually, it's not important. Well then... Take care, everyone. Perhaps we'll meet again. In another life.
Here we go. burning the yellow switch. It's over. Third execution. So that's over.
Extreme! What are you gonna do?
Let me out of here!
Too bad. How strange. Hey! Hey! Wah-wah?
So then, you...
Ooh!
Hey,
Ooh! How exciting! Hello. Well, see ya later!
so...
Hey,
Indeed. Hey,
What?
so...
Come on. What? Goodbye.
well then.
Yo!
Okay.
Shall we... So... You... However... What? Indeed. What? It's true. That's fine. Correct.
Oops. There we go. You must not.
Why, you? What do you think you're doing? I asked you a question. What's the meaning of this? How dare you defy me? This wasn't part of the deal!
The deal?
I've made a decision. I will no longer retreat, no longer compromise, no longer regret. I've made my decision. I'm going to resist you.
But you do realize what will happen if you go through with this, right? You haven't forgotten, have you? What I'm holding hostage?
Huh. The end. 7. Super Robot Justice. Okay. And so we're